whenever you refuse to let your kids make mistakes, get some bumps and bruises, it does a lot of harm to them. From whenever the time they were just a little kid, we took them outside. We had them play in the mud. It was okay if they got their new shoes dirty. It was okay if they got little bumps and bruises. We didn't coddle them. Whenever you insist on doing that, you raise handicapped kids. When you raise kids like that, you raise kids who need things to be perfect for them to thrive, because you need things to be perfect for you to thrive. And because of that, you're crippling them for their future. I want to talk about resiliency in kids. And I want to talk about this because I made a post about my son sliding down a steep rock stream. And I posted just a fun little reel. It's supposed to be a fun reel of my son walking up a stream. He was in Crocs. Some people had a problem with him in Crocs. This was like a 15-foot hill underneath a waterfall or just a local park. I took him and my daughter. They were so excited because it was wet out. They asked me to watch a movie, and then I took them out into the woods. I said, nope, we're not going to watch a movie. I'm going to take you out into the woods. We used to hike all the time, and now that the kids do more CrossFit, jiu-jitsu, basketball, that stuff, we do more of that and less hiking. So I said, no, I want you guys to be out in the woods, get messy, get hurt. Not broken bones hurt, you helicopter parents out there. Bumps and bruises. And guess what? If they did break a bone, it would be okay too. We would just take them to the doctors. They'd get, not stitched up, but they'd get fixed. And everything would be okay. And if you fail and make mistakes in your life, everything will be okay too. That's where all this comes from. This overprotective helicopter parenting. It's the parents' inability to handle imperfection. They cannot handle when things are not perfectly laid out in front of them, and because of that, they transfer all of that stress and anxiety onto their children. I just watched the second Inside Out movie, which is great, and it's all about emotions, and there was this one character that destroys the entire movie, and it's called anxiety. So there's a character where it's called anxiety, and this character's anxiety just freezes the girl, causes her to make 100 decisions, cripples her, and parents do that to their children. They have crippling anxiety, maybe because they were raised that way or because they went through some trauma and never dealt with it, and then they just give that onto their children by extreme overprotecting, overparenting, micromanaging, helicopter parenting, and just crush the dreams of their kids. How does that play out? Well, you're at the park. You know, my kids are just running around crazy. They're going everywhere, playing on all this stuff, running, jumping, falling sometimes, getting bruised sometimes, trying things they've never tried sometimes. Also, walking up to new children they've never talked to and saying hello. Sometimes they get a good hello back. Sometimes they get ignored, but not spiraling out of control after that happens. From the time my kids were very little, I sent them out. Whenever we would go to a park, I'd say, go make friends. Even this year, my son's in 5th grade, my daughter's in 3rd grade. I said, go out and whenever you come back from your first day of school, because they just came back from a new school this year, I said, your assignment is to bring me the names of 3 new friends, 3 new kids. So they each did that for like the first week. Because of that, they are not afraid of people. Whenever I was little, I was self-conscious and afraid to talk to new people, including adults and kids. I took that on. So I am changing that part of my legacy. To my kids, I want them to be fearless. I don't want them to be self-conscious and unconfident. I want them to go into the world and just attack life. So they are both extremely confident, extremely independent. They are risk takers. They are not afraid to fail. They both have large groups of friends. They're both leaders in the groups of friends. And it's intentional, and we practice it. We practice it all the time. Part of that comes back to physical things you do, how you parent in these kind of situations. There's also the kind of parents at the park who, the kid's wearing a helmet and knee pads, and they want to climb up heaven forbid they want to climb up the slide, and the mom runs over, grabs the kid, and says, "Oh my goodness, you shouldn't do that. You might get hurt." So I made this post, and I just showed a video of my son climbing up this 15-foot slope. Like there's a small waterfall at this local park. We don't live in Tennessee with 300-foot waterfalls. It's like a 20-foot small waterfall with just a small stream coming down it. Check out my Instagram if you want to see the video. And the stream comes down, a small waterfall, and then it's just like a 15-foot rock slope, slippery, obviously. And what's normal is kids in this area go to this park. We take them, the kids put on their swimsuits. Some people bring like a beach blanket. And you go up, you go down this stream, and you just slide down on your butt. It's like a natural rock slide. If you're familiar with that, just a natural rock slide. So in this area, it's just normal. You just go up, you slide down. And I posted this on my Instagram. Most people, honestly, most people were like, "Hey, that's awesome. Hey, I've got boys, that this is the best thing in the world." I would say 85% of people were super pro this post. I want to address the helicopter parents, the people who put helmets on their kids when they go to the mall, the people who don't let their kids say hi to anyone, the people that don't let their kids do jujitsu because they might get hurt, or don't let them do anything because of blank. And their children are just terrified. That reminds me, I got a great story to tell of someone, and I can't be too specific, somebody I saw with their kids, in an extreme example of this. So I got to remember to tell that story. So you give your children your anxiety, and you give your children your fear, you give them your stress, and you can tell people it's for the benefit of the kid, but it's not. It's not benefiting them. You are crippling them. You are crippling their future. You're making them risk averse. Like, my children will be running companies. They will be starting businesses, failing businesses, being okay with that, and starting new ones. They are not going to have what I had to get through, what I had to grow through, and that was that crippling fear of, oh my goodness, I can't imagine my life without a 9-to-5 and getting a salary, benefits, and pension. I can't imagine quitting my job, or I can't imagine investing in myself. I made a post on my stories about guys who can't invest in themselves, and I got messages back from people saying, "Well, I'm broke and I'm financially struggling, so because of that, I can't invest in myself." That is your opinion, that you can't invest in yourself. That is a cage that you have built around yourself. If you are broke and you act like a broke person, you will remain broke. When I was broke, I invested in myself like I had money. I then continued to act as if I had money. Not saying I went out and bought Lambos. I'm saying I invested like I was a business person who wanted to start a business. Like I bought programs. I bought coaches. When my wife got laid off from her job, we had $1,500 a month in student loan debt to be a public school teacher. So very little income, tons of bills, then invested in myself. So we were struggling financially. We got groceries returned at Aldi. We would go to Aldi and check out with like a $76 bill, and they would say, "Sorry, your card's declined." I remember telling Sarah, "Take $15 worth of stuff away." We'd go online, we'd check our balance, it'd be like $56. So I'd say, "Okay, go return some groceries," and then we would be able to check out with what we needed until we got paid again. That was my situation. And then guess what? I put $4,000 on a credit card to invest in a coaching program because I refused to live my life stuck. So you telling yourself that finances are too tight for you to invest in yourself is you alone. That is in your head. That is not everybody. There's some of us who refuse to stay stuck. I'm one of them. There's other people who will be shooting off into the stratosphere, and you will still be where you are because in your mind you're broke. You're not. But you're still acting like it. But I don't want to I don't want to spend this whole podcast talking about finances. That was a little tangent to talk about people who are risk averse and what ends up happening to people who have this attitude of parenting. Your kids become those people who never take risks, never invest in themselves, and are stuck forever. It all starts with little situations like this. Like your son really, really wants to run down into the stream, but you say, no, you don't have the right water boots on. And I was at the stream with the park, and I loved it so much. My kids were done playing, and I came back, and I saw 3 different fathers and their sons walking in the stream, bare feet, going to do the exact same thing we were at the same park. It was amazing. I was really proud for fathers when I saw that. So yeah, Dad, we are kicking ass. We are changing our legacies right now, connecting with our kids, spending one-on-one time, having them take risks. It's okay to give your kids risks in a controlled setting. So here's what I did let my son do. Okay, I let him walk up a slippery rock slide and slide down on his butt. Somebody messaged and commented that, I can't believe you let your son do that and you purposely documented this for likes and clicks when he could have cracked his skull open and died. Okay? So I responded, yep, that's exactly what I did. You nailed it. Okay. Like I said, that was probably 15, I would say maybe 10%. Not maybe 5%, not even. Vast majority of people were like, this is amazing, I love it. Kids need to take more risks. I'm addressing the people with the other mindset and encouraging those of you who have the correct mindset of let our kids get messy, make mistakes, like Miss Frizzle says. So I let him do that. What did I not let him do? I didn't let him go to the top of the waterfall where there's a sign that says, do not go past this point and look over. He asked me if he could. I said no. So I let him slide down where I knew at max, because I imagined the worst possible scenario, which was maybe as he's rolling down, or not rolling down, maybe as he's sliding down on his butt, he like lands on a rock weird and gets like a really bad bruise. The worst case scenario, he can possibly break a bone, but that was no, it's really couldn't happen. So I imagined the cost benefit of what I was allowing him to do before I allowed him to do it. And I said, yeah, if he gets a little bumps and bruised, it's okay. And before he did it, you can see on the video, I said, Nathan, you might get hurt. And he said, okay, I still want to do it. He said, will I die? I said, no, but you might get hurt. He said, will I break a bone? I said, maybe. But he wanted to do it anyway. Had I said, no, you might get hurt, you might break a bone, come down, that would have been more harmful to him than having him actually get hurt. Because that sequence of events compounded 1,000 times changes who your child is. I let him do that. What I didn't let him do was go to the top of the waterfall where it was wet and slippery and there's a 20-foot drop onto hard rocks and look over. Did the cost benefit of that wasn't worth it, right? The joy of looking down over a cliff versus falling to your death. So that's the difference. Let them do dangerous things, quote dangerous things, in a controlled setting. Don't be stupid, right? Like there's the people who at the zoo lift their kids over the hyena cages so they could, the cost-benefit ratio of that is the benefit is you get a little bit closer view of the hyenas. The cost is you die. The cost benefit of letting him slide down was he gets to prove to himself he gets to overcome a fear. He gets the immense joy of sliding down like a slippery slope. He gets to do it lots of times because he could just walk up and down. The cost, he maybe gets a bruise on his butt, which he didn't even get that. And as you can see on the video, he does it lots and lots of times and keeps on going up and down. If you are not willing to let your kids do simple things like this, you are not just stealing joy from them, but you are changing their willingness to take risks and invest in themselves and potentially fail. Because it all starts in small, controlled situations like this. That's where it starts. It doesn't start in the grand scheme, the grand gestures of having your kids start businesses and failing. It starts with, Do I have the courage to walk up this hill where I might get a little hurt, but I think I really want to do it? Because there's those kids who are too afraid to leave their house. They're too afraid to talk to kids. As a teacher, I saw tons of these kids. I saw lots of different kind of kids. I saw kids that walked up to anyone, said hello. They walked up to me and were like, Mr. Rodack, you're a little bit late on blank. It's called advocating for themselves. And I loved that. I said, yes, I am. Correct. And there's the other kids who are too afraid to say something to me, or they're too afraid to say hi to another kid. And because of that, they never got what they wanted. They never advocated for themselves. I want my kids to advocate for themselves. I love it when Lauren calls me out, laughs at me, makes fun of me. I want kids that are confident, independent, not afraid to fail. And it all starts with these small, controlled situations. That's why when we go out to restaurants, I insist on my kids ordering for themselves, because I want them to develop the confidence of speaking up for themselves. And also, there's times when Nathan and Lauren will order food or a drink, and I remember one time Nathan said, this lemonade tastes weird, and I was like, yeah, it does taste weird. And he's like, he said, Dad, can you ask the waitress to get me a new one? I said, no, but you can. I said, you can get a new lemonade, but you have to be the one to ask. I'll let you get a new lemonade, but you have to be the one to do it. You need to advocate for yourself. You need to be confident. You need to be independent. And now he's just not afraid. He'll say, excuse me, can I get a new lemonade? Through the repetitions of these small situations that our kids can go through over and over and over again, they will then turn into bigger and bigger situations. Such as this girl came up to Nathan, he's in 5th grade, and said, I want to be your girlfriend. And Nathan just confidently said, he's like, I'm not sure, I need to think about it. And then the next day, he went up to her, and she said, what's your answer? And then he said, actually, I think I need to wait till middle school, and I'll let you know. And she said, I'll be waiting for you. How amazing is that? I did not have those kind of balls when I was his age. I was terrified of girls. My first girlfriend was in 8th or 9th grade. And Nathan said, I want to beat you. So he wants to do it in 6th grade. And who knows what having a girlfriend in 6th grade even means. It means like giving them a sticker or something. But I am proud to have kids that are not afraid to fail. Because of that, they have real life results already. And I can only imagine what their results are going to be like when they're adults. Nathan has done many jiu-jitsu tournaments and won many golds. I did an entire podcast on Nathan coming back from failure and winning gold. He lost 4 matches in a row, then he came back, overcame himself, and through overcoming resilience, won gold. Okay, there's a whole podcast on that. I think it's called My Son Wins Gold at a Jiu-Jitsu Tournament. Go through the whole thing. He was in tears, crying, wanted to quit, wanted to fail, and then he overcame himself. Because of that, now he wants to continue to do jiu-jitsu tournaments. He also, when we're in jiu-jitsu class, seeks the hardest person because he loves it. He even loves it whenever he's in the midst of failing because he can come back and win. He does CrossFit competitions. He's never done CrossFit competitions before. He did a CrossFit competition, came in second. He does basketball leagues. He's a strong kid, but he's not a tall kid. He's probably average height. He'll probably be as tall as me, 6 foot. But there's kids in his 5th and 6th grade club league that are twice as tall as him. There's a kid who's as tall as me, and he's in 6th grade. So Nathan's probably not going to be in the NBA. But he likes to play with these kids. He's okay and still tries his hardest every single game and is not afraid to fail. Because I don't shelter him from failure. I encourage him in a controlled setting. I wouldn't put him out on an NBA court, but I am willing to put him out in a league of 5th and 6th graders who are a little bit better than him, because then guess what happens? He gets really good in this league because he's challenged, and then we also put him in another league of less talented kids that's more local, and then he dominates and does really well. So because of the failure and resistance he faces, he then gains all this skill and resiliency to come back and do better. He doesn't have to be first place. I don't demand that he gets first and best in everything. That's not the point. The point is that he grows stronger. Lauren is the most confident girl I know. She will come up to me and tell me exactly what I need to hear, exactly what other people are too afraid to tell me, and just say it to my face, and I freaking love it. She is going to be, I already told her, I said, you'll go, she can do whatever she wants. So don't send me an email saying, I can't believe you're forcing your girl. I'm just just telling you a story. She can do whatever she wants, but I told her, I said, you're going to be running all the bookkeeping, all the human resources, everything. You're going to be running Rising Father, everything. I can see Nathan doing something creative. I could see Lauren making sure shit happens. She'll be telling me, Dad, you need to get this thing in on time. She'll be telling that kind of stuff to me. And I'll be like, yes, ma'am. She is on top of it, and I love it. She's also extremely talented. This podcast isn't me talking about my kids, sorry. She's great at ballet, musical theater, singing. She's got a six-pack. She's great at CrossFit. She's great at jiu-jitsu. But all of that stuff happens by the little things from whenever the time they were just a little kid. We took them outside. We had them play in the mud. It was okay if they got their new shoes dirty. It was okay if they got little bumps and bruises. We didn't coddle them. Whenever you insist on doing that, you raise handicapped kids. When you raise kids like that, you raise kids who need things to be perfect for them to thrive because you need things to be perfect for you to thrive. And because of that, you're crippling them for their future. Whenever you refuse to let your kids make mistakes, get some bumps and bruises, it does a lot of harm to them. Yes, you could spare them a little bit of possible pain right now. But the pain a man feels in the future whenever they're stuck and frustrated and they're scared to take a risk and they don't know why is immense. It's worse pain when it's on the inside. I want to spare my kids from that, some of the pain that I had to overcome of being stuck and not knowing why, being frustrated and not knowing why. And it was just me. I had to overcome myself. A lot of it was fear, being stuck in fear. Too afraid to do anything, too afraid to act, too afraid to take a risk, too afraid to invest in myself, just scared. I don't want my kids to be scared. So if I can train that in them, train fearlessness in them in a controlled setting, I'm going to do it. So yes to sliding down a slippery slope on your butt, no to jumping off a cliff. How about that?